I have classy butt cheeks.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that to you.
I don't care.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of 0.Point Reviews with Jeff and Kev. This time we're doing 1988's Ernest Saves Christmas. This is the third Ernest film, but also the highest grossing Ernest film of all time. Yet it is the one Ernest film not available on Blu-ray. Disney, go fuck yourself. Kevin, when did you first learn about this movie?
Probably 1987. I don't, maybe during the what was it called? Magical World of Disney.
Oh, yeah. The Saturday show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably sometime during then, or maybe the Super Bowl. Because I'm stuttering. Commercials were really popular back then. Like the Sprite commercials, I think it was that Slice. Those were really funny. He was on those. So
this initially started as a commercial. I remember the commercials. Amy actually asked me when we were watching Ernest Saves Christmas, like, was this based off of an SNL skit or, something like that? And I couldn't quite remember. And then you mentioned commercials, and then all of a sudden it hits me like, that's right. I remember how it starts now, but I never really looked it up while we were watching the movie. So good reminder. Thank you.
Well, it's that pop culture knowledge that doesn't get me anywhere except for winning that game logos.
Hey, it also gets us like a little bit closer to our subscriber goals. So that works too.
That's what we should do one night. We should play logos with people on a live stream one night.
We'll also do a drinking game too. You can do water or root beer. I'll do the real drinking.
I was going to say, wait a second. I got the gout. I can't win.
You got the gout. We'll have an emergency 911 call in the middle of the stream.
Oh, there's our first 0.Point on our Christmas episode.
That didn't take long, bitch. Right on.
And I promised to be good in this episode too, and I didn't.
Boy, that did not take long, and you got Ernest chewing on your chair and on your head too, right behind you. Look at that.
It's mostly hollow.
It's like the chocolate bunnies at Easter. There's nothing in the center, just the shell.
No, and then the ones that are like super thick are like a harsh surprise, like you weren't expecting that.
And that's what she said.
Out of it. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about Critters 2, another great anyway. It's better than chocolate. It's carob. Sorry.
Right on.
Let's get back to talking about this. So,
yeah,
when did you first hear about this one?
This one, I want to say I heard about it. Let's see, 88. I want to say I heard about it in like a video store, but I think I saw like commercials on TV for the movie, but I never saw the movie until it later hit like a video store. I never went to the theater for these except for maybe the first one. And so that's how I got aware of Ernest Saves Christmas, was largely through commercials on TV, but then ultimately out of the video store, and I would rent it.
I remember my aunt and uncle renting Ernest Goes to Camp and just falling in love with that. And so then, like, to your point, anytime the commercials would come on, it was like a real treat. But this, my mom actually took me to see in the theater.
Oh, cool.
In Salinas, California. That movie theater is no longer standing. And if anyone's into geography or California history, I'm not that hard. Salinas was a little nicer back then.
Yeah, you're not so ghetto like you think you are.
No.
Come on, Vato, you gotta bring it, man.
I have been through certain neighborhoods in Salinas where I've never ever wanted to go back. It really is that cesspool that they show on. It's a meme from The Lion King, like everything the shadow touches. What's that? Salinas. Not even the
Hey,
cops want to go there. It's like Mega City 1.
hey, I grew up on the mean streets of San Diego, Linda Vista, Kearny Mesa area. Yeah.
Anyway,
For a few years, anyway.
saw this movie in a rinky-dink, dirty-ass theater that was right next to a really nice mall. So it at least had that
Oh,
much going for it.
okay.
And I remember falling in love with it. At a certain age, you go to movies and you like certain parts and you fall asleep through the rest. This movie had me from the get-go, and it still does.
Yeah, there's a real charm to this movie. Like, it's sweet. I mean, of course, the Ernest movies always play loose and dumb. They don't pretend to be anything smarter than what you see. And I think that's actually pretty endearing to the character and the overall movie. Like, we're not going to treat you like a moron. We're stupid to begin with, and that's what we got for you. But at the core, there's like an honest character, and it's extremely well written. Jim Varney does a fantastic job, and it shows in Ernest Saves Christmas, and that's ultimately probably why this was the biggest grossing movie of the franchise. Is this one hit the sweet spot finally? Because you got the first two were just fine. They captured the people who were interested to begin with, and then the second one just kept you going along the same path. This one brought something a little bit different, a little bit of holiday spirit, and a lot more, down to earth character moments. And yes, it's not overly complex. It's super simple. You see through and through. You could see where they got ideas for maybe Elf later on. You could see where they maybe got ideas for Christmas Vacation. There's other, not to say that those movies ripped off Ernest Saves Christmas. They didn't. But it's like, this movie came out, there were some good ideas in here on how to play comedy against Christmas while keeping a very sweet, endearing sense to it. And that's ultimately what makes this work.
That and it encapsulates Santa Claus's Christmas in the spirit of giving more
Yep.
so than anything else. And I think that makes it more available for everybody. Like it doesn't have to be a religious thing. It could just be a feeling, a spirit of giving and a sacrifice, like they say. And this movie really gets that.
I would say so, especially when the first Christmas tree falls off the back of a truck and Ernest slams on the brakes to grab it and throw it in the back of the cab with Santa. I know a guy, my buddy Vern. He needs a tree. I don't need one. I got one already up in my room.
Stay calm, Tannenbaum. I love that so much. Causes this huge pileup for a tree that he doesn't even need. And even Santa Claus is like, oh my gosh, you just did that.
And smashes the glass right next to his head, scares the shit out of him. Poor guy. And it's probably like, this is why I'm retiring you.
Right. But again, it's Florida, so you can't be surprised by anything that happens in this movie, including that. So
hey, the only thing missing out of this was like an alligator running through a scene or something.
Kinda, yes.
Yeah, largely shot in Orlando for the curious.
Yes, that's what I read.
It's funny because at the Amtrak station, when they show the exterior, for a moment I thought it was like this. It was shot in San Diego because it looks almost like the old San Diego Amtrak station from when I was a kid.
Yes.
And Amy was like, "Oh, where do you think they shot this?" I'm like, "San Diego." But then I saw that it was from like Orlando. I'm like, son of a bitch, that must have been a common like little design for Amtrak stations back then.
I don't know. I mean, it's a beautiful building, but
Yeah.
you're right. I thought it was the same one. So
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
I
well.
felt kind of sheepish, like, oh, never mind.
But, they did pretty good for being in Orlando, and they made the use of it without making it feel like they're trying to tell you, oh, we shot this in Orlando, but we're really situating this in the Midwest. Thank God for not trying to like snow people over with that idea.
Yeah. It really was sweaty. Everybody was sweaty. This guy here, this poor bastard, and I know they probably had to spray him down for a little bit of extra believability, but he's sweaty through the entire time that he's in this movie. Like, he's the backseat passenger, already sweating before they get on the thrill drive and going back and forth from the back seat side to side. He was completely wet, looked like he had water coming down from his hair.
I wonder if they super glued that hat on him. Poor guy. Because that hat never moved, yo.
Oh, Mr. Varney? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. And I don't know how often people had to get toweled off or what kind of makeup was used to make sure that, like, no sweating was happening.
That's true.
So, because people use mascara.
Except for the girl. She did a little too much mascara. What was her name, Kevin? Please tell me.
Harmony Star?
You mean the porn star? My wife made the comment. She's like, that's an interesting name. And I said, you mean like a porn star name or something like that? How's that for a 0 point for you, bitch?
Up next, coming to the stage.
Well, and what further accentuates that is, what's the number on the taxi cab?
69.
69.
I'm not without my eyes.
So if anybody's feeling randy and you watch this movie, by the time you're done, you're going to want to be done.
I had a different setup for this, but since we're going to be on the naughty list anyway, the definition of anal retentive is excessively orderly and fussy behavior, supposedly owing to conflict over toilet training as an infant.
Oh my God, dude.
So the asshole in the back seat who was telling Ernest to move it apparently had... Ernest tries helping get his luggage out of the back of the taxi, rips it apart, and all the toiletries fall out. And lo and behold, is a big jar of Vaseline there. Nah, it looks a bit bigger than just, dabbing here and dabbing there, like Carmex or some shit, getting the herpes out the way. But
wow. Just need to get a lube job.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not.
This movie is everything that's like innocent and pure to me, and
we're making it filthy and disgusting.
And I found
0 Point reviews. Everybody, check out our podcast. We do the same thing on that too.
Yeah, it's just not as pretty. But yeah, this. Where do we come back from that?
It's okay. Honestly, the movie, it's so like sweet and good natured that you can't help, like, as an adult, to find something that you can get interested in the movie now. I mean, if you've been a fan of these movies for years, you're going to be same fan of the movie now. But if you weren't as big a fan then and you're like, man, these are stupid, but hey, I'm now an adult and I really like stupid movies. Hey, revisit something like this and you'll find something that you can make fun of, like we just did. Or something else entirely, like the reindeer on the roof. That was pretty comical with the two bumbling guys that were handling the airport, basically delivery service. And that was pretty funny for the most part too. Reminding me of Chris Farley and the other guy he always worked with.
David Spade.
Thank you, Spade. I couldn't remember that.
That was Chuck and Bobby. And they are truly the unsung side characters in Ernest's franchise. Like, there has to be so many jokes that go around in the movie that land for it to be successful, but it all can't land or be severely like on Jim's shoulders. It can't be an Ernest has to make all the jokes. So a lot of the physical gags and like the Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy type jokes get to go to Chuck and Bobby and things like arguing M V or
poor Bobby. That was pretty funny.
And then God help him, Chuck squeal when the hoof comes out of there. That like got ingrained into my head as a kid.
That was pretty funny. That actually popped me too.
Yeah, but the whole this scene here is just brilliant. I think just about everybody's had that experience with somebody else trying to decipher a hieroglyphic that's just a smudged word.
Right. Trying to, and later on they do it with the Easter Bunny too. Like at the end of the movie, there's no post-credit scenes, anybody. There's nothing like that, but it's just before the credits hit, they get into the Easter Bunny. It's an E. No, it's an F. No, it's an E. It's an F. And then the Easter Bunny ears pop up right out of the box. I'm like, oh, these poor guys are going to get screwed for the next year.
But they've got a great evolution in the movie. I mean, clearly they don't have a whole story themselves, but they do have an evolution to where they first find the reindeer, get freaked out by the reindeer, and then by the end, they're like, it's old hat to them. They're like, yeah, they're up there. Yeah. They're not surprised by anything until the elves show up.
Right.
Which these two, this smiling scene right here is like, it warms my heart every time. And I can't say helper elves to save my life. They're helper elms.
Yep. They must be South Pole elms.
South Pole. One of them was, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him.
Hey, do we need an extra for our ride around the world and delivering presents? And they're in the backseat going, no, no, no. And okay, Ernest, hop on in. And they're like, oh, fuck me.
Adios mío.
Dude, like, it would have been funny to have like some slightly edgier like Ernest movie at some point, to have somebody just go off, be like, oh, fuck no. Just have a random swear word in the middle of the, and just, it could have been funny if they had ever done something like that, but totally not necessary for this one. This is a movie for the whole family. So.
Yes. And from what I understand, urban legend though it may be, Mr. Varney had a sincere love for this character's bond that he had with kids.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have tarnished that character for anything. And that's one of the reasons why I don't make jokes about this particular movie. I'll joke about anything else. And this is also one of the reasons why I like this Christmas movie, because, you know, I don't like Christmas. I don't like Christmas movies. There's like a handful I can count that I actually really like, and most of them involve puppets or creatures.
And some that you can't find on digital or HD, and people online want to be pissy about why you want to see that movie in a better transfer. Just saying.
Oh, yes, that one. Yeah.
Yep. Next year we'll be discussing that movie, I'm thinking.
Goddamn right, because I got a good story for it.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless we pivot and do something else for our January episode. We'll see.
Oh, but the stress and anxiety, the whole scene where they're going around and around and around and around was brilliantly edited. It was believable. They were not doing anything other than like leaning back and forth, but the movie was so fantastically edited and had such great sound effects that you really believed that there was some chaotic shit happening and that they were in danger, and it was so fun. And I again, I love the screaming, the ah, we're gonna die. We're gonna die.
Poor Elms.
But my favorite quote out of there, I've misquoted for like 30 years. I've always said, nobody says, nobody does. That's not the line. It's nobody moves,
Nobody
nobody
dies.
dies.
Yep.
I feel like it's okay that I haven't been saying that to my kids for the last 10 years, but I'll try to amend it, I suppose.
That was really funny because they're technically in outer space, and like, if you try to apply common sense to this movie, that's the scene that would definitely make you go, they all dead. What are they talking about? What are they doing right now?
And then they've got this great scene, and it's just the camera going up, but it looks like it's Jim horizontal holding the reins up this way, got him wrapped around his arms, and he's like standing on the brake trying to pull it as hard as he can, and finally gets it to stop right here.
Like 2 feet from the ground or 3 feet.
Yeah. And then comes the greatest line in any Christmas movie. Air brakes.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And it is. That's a really famous fucking Christmas quote, whether people want to think about it or not. It more so than Buffalo Moon Won't You Come Out Tonight.
Okay. I don't know that off the top of my head, but
It's a Wonderful Life.
I don't really remember
Nah,
much of that movie, and I've only seen it once, like years and years ago. Oh my god, I'm a bad Christmas movie fan. I never really been a fan of that movie. So
you got something against Public Market? Fuck you.
goddamn right.
Watch the riff tracks of it. They take like a half hour out of it, and it's the funniest shit ever.
Okay.
Basically, it gets to the point where the angel tells the dude that he wants to help him, and he says, "Why? Do you have an extra like $500, whatever it was?" And it cuts out the entire scene where it shows him never being born and just being super excited, like "Merry Christmas, everybody!" And Bill goes, "Wow, the angel had the money to give him."
Oh jeez.
It was so goddamn funny.
Okay, I will add that to the list.
I'll send it to you if you don't have it already. But it's damn funny.
Now, would Riff Tracks ever do a movie like the Ernest movies? I don't know because I don't follow Riff Tracks all that closely. I know you do though.
Yeah, no, this is one of those flicks where I'd say it's unriffable. And there's two different types of unriffable movies. Perfect movies that are actually quite riffable, and funny movies that are self-aware, albeit even silly or ridiculous. They're very self-aware that they're a comedy, and you can't make something that's already funny even funnier.
Okay.
That doesn't work. It just doesn't. It's like saying that the movie's jokes aren't good enough already. And it's, I don't know. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about with Riff Tracks, it's like a Mystery Science Theater style show, but more in an audio format. There's no silhouettes on the screen. You just play it as you watch the movie and get to enjoy like the banter between everybody. Or don't even watch the movie, just listen to these guys talk about the movie. And it's usually a pretty good time. I'm just a little behind the ball on actually getting caught up on episodes myself.
Life, work, podcasts. My wife asked if, God, what did she want to watch with me? It might have been like The Great Outdoors recently. And I'm like, let me look at my schedule. And I actually looked at our list to see, what am I watching this week? Look, I got to get about 4 or 5 hours in today. So
only because our next episode for our podcast is kind of a chunky show.
It's tedious, but not bad.
No.
This, on the other hand, it's not. It's a short movie. It's what, 70, 80 minutes, which is typical of a Disney flick. There's nothing that's like long and drawn out like a lot of Christmas movies do. Like there's no
No.
moment of what's going to happen. Oh, everything falls apart. There's a sad song, and by the end of it, everything's going to be okay. That part's kind of cut out of this movie, and it's better off for it.
Yeah, that entire exposition that you would get from something like that is usually like 15 to 20 minutes of a movie. It was more like 5 minutes in this movie. So they got to the point,
Yeah.
they went through it, and then they concluded it. Like, you did not have to spend like 40 minutes wondering, oh my God, can we just get on with the fucking movie already?
Now, the only part to that I did feel that with was in the train station where Harmony is listening to the brother and sister fight, and she gets guilted into taking the sack back to Santa by listening to the kids fight, or the brother be an absolute douche to the little girl. And the little girl tells her, but if that's Santa's sack, why do you have it? Like, the whole fighting thing went on a long time for me. That I would have just cut by just a little bit.
I would have cut out the stuff in the train station. It had that literally as she was going to get on to the bus. That way you could have cut out probably about a minute's worth of them bickering in the station. Just have them bickering outside the station, and then it just gets right to that.
Kind of, because it's like there's a lot that happens in the time between her disappearing and then her coming back, and she's watching them fight for that entire time. Either you're going to walk away, go give the shit back, or smack the two of them and get yourself arrested.
That's true.
I would have gone nuts at that point. But really, where the little girl asks, why do you have the sack? Like, I could see the audience in my head going, waiting for the answer, like, yes, go on.
Yeah, they just zoom right back to her just having this self-aware moment of, oh yeah, I should probably get the sack back. And then the next
You
thing
know what you've
she
done.
shows up and she's giving the sack back. Which he knew perfectly well was going to happen by 7 o'clock that night. So Santa not only retired, got into the new Santa, who grew his beard back magically, and he got his sack back. He retired. He then hooked up with the lady from the museum. So retiring Santa is 3 for 3. Everybody else is kind of 0 for the century.
Over the century. Ernest got a half win. He got to drive that night. That was epic. Yeah. Complete thrill drive. Ernest P. World thrill drive. I love that. His monologues are so unique, so blessed and genuine that you can't help but pay attention to them.
Right.
In all of the movies, the first 3 especially.
Yeah.
But golly, there's nothing else like watching him just completely ad-lib. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's got great comedic timing. He is the kind of guy I look at as he paved a little bit of the way for like a Jim Carrey type to then take it to the next level. And like, he's very physical of an actor, but he relies a lot on his facials and his verbal delivery. And you know, say what you will about whether the man can act or not, he clearly can, but like, he fits this character, he jumps right in, and he's just very engaging. Like, he's got the charisma for days, and so it really drives the movie forward. You don't need him in this movie every single minute. The movie actually relies on its story that they're trying to tell with the other characters, and he shows up when he's needed in the story, not just for the sake of being there the whole movie. So when he's on screen, it's like, hey, I got to pay attention to what he's doing because I already have the other story going on, or the main story. So I can just kind of watch what he's doing, and then we'll get back to the story and we just keep on going. The nice in between and the cutting in between that was fantastic. I thought this was really well edited, and it just kept the pacing going, and it felt fresh almost the entire movie. So now, if you're not a fan of like stupid, dumb movies, like why even watching us like talk about this movie, because you're not gonna like the movie then. Ringing endorsement from Jeff. You're welcome.
He's not wrong.
I am not wrong.
I don't know if he was the first person to pioneer this, but he was most certainly the best. He's the master of the first person point of view camera.
POV.
He had this wonderful way of looking like he was grabbing the camera and pulling it so hard that it's like it was so heavy, and it was just him pantomiming, and it was so fresh, like you said, so much so that you don't notice that Vern is only in this movie. Like, he does this a lot, but Vern's only in this movie and just for a little bit, and it's funny as hell.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I don't remember ever seeing him in these movies before. I completely forgot about it from this particular movie.
Yeah, and it's one of the better parts. Between
it gives a realism to that character, not just being a name he talks about.
Yes, like, oh shit, he really does have that friend.
Yeah, who doesn't want him in his fucking house?
Or life, or
drinking my punch, you motherfucker.
Superb. I do that,
and then the
all
tree
the time.
takes him down.
My wife gets so mad because I'll do that, like if she makes a punch or something like that for the kids, or just the gallon of milk in general. She's like, "Are you goddamn serious? You're drinking from the carton?" Yeah, you goddamn serious? You mentioned this after 12 years?
You must be new here.
Either that or I am really sneaky and good.
There you go.
And wait and see all our computations in head go, how many times did I get the fucking flu after drinking milk?
Hey, it's like the meme of like the equations just floating in front of the head. It's like, this is all happening too fast, too complicated. I'm slowing down time, woman. You don't know what I'm doing.
I'm going to 0.Point again. I'm circling this back to what you said with the master of his faces and pantomimes as well. This scene here got a comeback from Ernest Stupid, from Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yeah.
And considering you've seen Ernest Goes to Camp, and he's making that same face and reaction while sticking his arm in Santa's sack, other than the phrasing of what I just said, that's still kind of what's in there.
Hey, everybody was playing with Santa's sack in this movie.
We're gonna have to like have a disclaimer for people, like a waiver,
No.
like not a disclaimer, a waiver, like you cannot sue us for liver damage every time we talk about Santa's sack.
Every time we mention that, take a shot. One of these days, we'll have a drinking game that goes with this show. How about that?
Take a hit every time I talk about The Thing or That Thing when we were talking about the movie The Thing.
Oh, dude, people would have been stoned within like 4 hits.
It was faster than that. That was, yeah.
Bang.
We're the best at misusing puns.
Damn fucking right.
Anyway, his characters, the characters that I really liked, that they're every bit as much of a cameo as the jokes are, the pantomimes and the
I loved him as the governor.
Yes.
Or governor's assistant.
Aster Clement, absolutely wonderful. The smile and the smarm and the charm, fake charm.
And Mindy.
And the trying to piss Santa off in order to get him out was hysterical. Like, knowing, yes, that is Santa Claus, but you, sir, are insane for even thinking that you are.
Yep. And then the whole cell block was singing just before they got there.
That was so marvelous because the one guy at the end of the hall.
It's a partridge in a pear tree. And then you got Santa going, that's right.
His hand like cueing everyone to stop. But I love his cellmates. There was so much oops in that picture.
Eat them raw.
This guy's got this cut off halter top that says eat 'em raw. And the dude who's very clearly in charge of this cell is sitting in the middle there. I'm guessing that's his bunk behind him as well. Whoever was doing the costuming and setting up props probably should have done a little bit better there.
Yeah, I wonder, like, that was so weird just even seeing, like, baseball hats and things like that around there. It's like, are you going to put them in a holding cell or is this a detainee area? Couldn't quite figure that out because it's like, why would you actually throw? Because honestly, why did they really jail Santa? He actually did nothing wrong. They thought he was maybe mentally incapacitated. Don't you think he would have gone to the hospital for that, not jail?
Yeah, 72-hour watch.
Just saying.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And that's always an annoying thing. But coming from the actor that did it, I can't say forgivable, but he does really well at smarm. Like
he does.
He's such an asshole, except for Die Hard, which we'll talk about him again in that couple weeks. Yeah. He's the actor on the plane that tells Bruce Willis to rub his toes in the bathroom carpet to relieve the stress.
No, you got to make knuckles with your toes on the carpet.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And
I've only seen that movie like 100 times.
4,000 or 5,000. Like Bruce going, oh, son of a bitch, it works. It does.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's the same guy, and he was smarmy as hell in that. He's smarmy as hell in this, much nicer in that. But I love his bullshit. His real name is Santos. How the fuck do you know? And he's a big Hollywood agent. Yep. Hollywood, Florida.
So he's totally professional in that regard. I wonder if he's on a first name basis with those at Disney.
But that having been said, he is a dope bad guy in this movie. Like, he's not the bad guy. This movie doesn't have a bad guy, but he's a douche in it.
Yeah, who's just kind of like the road bump on the road through the movie. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to protect his investment more or less and his own ass. And just getting rid of Santa Claus in the worst way possible. But you're right. With not knowing who he is and not knowing if he's got Alzheimer's or any other sort of mental illness, he would have gone into an institution for a 72-hour watch. Yeah. Instead, they throw him in lockup to turn all these hardcore motherfuckers into the most beautiful prison choir you could think of.
Goddamn, Santa. You knew how to work that crowd.
And again, eat him raw.
I wonder if his name is Billy and he really wanted that bicycle at age 12 and he got that bicycle.
Son of a bitch. And they even fucking got a mugshot on Santa too.
That was pretty funny.
That was hardcore.
I'll give points. Like, if you're not going to do the hospital thing and you're going to throw him in jail, at least give me the mugshot sequence.
Yeah, right. Dun, 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 dun. Start playing.
Sorry, Santa. You've been busted.
Douglas Seal, I love him as Santa. Like, I can't say that he's the best Santa. He might be my favorite. He and probably like Richard Attenborough. Or Richard.
One of them.
The one that's not alive anymore. The one that was John Hammond. Yes. Anyway, he was on Miracle on 34th Street, and he was really good as Santa Claus. But again, there is a level of sincerity and sweetness to this Santa Claus and human factor. Like and they want that. That's the goal, is because again, he is just a normal dude that loved children and loved giving so much that he got granted the role of Santa Claus. And he feels like a normal dude, almost like what we're going to see next week.
Exactly.
A little less violence, though.
Maybe just a little.
But he is probably my favorite Santa Claus.
He's pretty up there. For me, I don't know where I'd rank my Santa Clauses. It kind of depends on, like, you talking action, you talking normal drama movie. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I like the Miracle on 34th Street reboot from that starred Dylan McDermott back in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I actually really like that one because they offered refunds to people if they didn't like the movie, and not many people took refunds. More people went and saw the movie thinking, "Oh, hey, this movie's gonna suck," and about a majority of them walked out and they're like, "That was actually pretty good."
Even with the fact that they changed the ending of the movie from the original,
Yeah,
I don't like swerves like that, but it was still a sweet ending.
yeah,
It wasn't bad at all.
No. But I'm not gonna say I like Tim Allen as Santa Claus or anything like that. That's a little too much of a gimmick for me. I like the ones where the actors are basically Santa from the word go.
Yes. Yeah. And this Santa, bless his heart, it takes no shit. Knocks his director out for having even said the words slay, children, terrorize, Christmas all in the same sentence. Just knocks his ass out.
K.O.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And the director, he wasn't even the douchiest part. It was this asshole here, who I like to call Wormy Guy. Like, who the hell is this dude? Like,
that was the studio guy, right?
He was the director's assistant, basically. Like,
oh, that's right.
Is he just like the local sycophant trying to kiss ass and get closer to the director? I don't know.
Man, them second unit directors are sure getting desperate these days.
You son of a bitch! Who do you think you are?
You stay on the second unit, right where you belong. You get your own blockbuster after Michael Bay retires, so sit and wait.
Yeah, like being a retired puppeteer, he probably has some pretty good opportunities ahead of him.
Yep, he's just got to pull the right strings.
Oh,
I know, it's horrible.
I got Pinocchio stuck in my head now. There are no strings on me.
How would you rank this movie amongst like other Christmas favorites, like say Muppet Christmas Carol, things like that?
This would be my second favorite movie, if not tied for favorite, with the Muppets Christmas Carol.
All right.
And again, I don't like Christmas movies, but these manage to encapsulate the spirit of giving without getting preachy one way or the other. And it's something that everybody can embrace. There's no bullshit in the middle where you're bored. It's unbelievable. Even for as silly as it is, it's still believable. Even with Muppets, it's still believable.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really dig on Christmas movies that much. Is this the smartest movie ever made? No. Is this the best movie ever made? No. Is it the best Christmas movie ever made? Not if you ask the Christians or
yeah.
What's his name? Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is probably the most fun you're going to have that doesn't involve singing or puppets. But this does have puppets. So the most fun you're going to have in a Christmas movie that doesn't involve singing.
That's true. Although in our next episode, I'm looking forward to that, to be honest. And I'm a little bit more for the Christmas movies. If you're looking for something lighthearted, that's a good family movie that you probably haven't heard about. I mean, of course, although we're talking about Ernest Saves Christmas here, but I would also recommend everybody check out the animated Klaus, Klaus, on Netflix. That is a fantastic family film. Everybody would really enjoy it. And, you know, it's just got some similar themes as this. It just goes a little bit more onto as being a serious movie, but also being comedic at times. And, kids can understand it, adults can understand it. And it's a really good movie. But that's only because I do enjoy Christmas movies. I don't like all of them, though. I mean, hell, we're doing Violent Night next week, and then we're going into Die Hard. So this is what we do. This is a little bit of a palate cleanse, and I hadn't seen this one in a very long time, and this was a great idea from Kevin because it just reminds me of the things I really liked about Ernest movies, and this is probably the best one in my opinion.
This movie reminds me a lot of just the great parts of being a kid, and I think that's one of
Yeah.
the alluring things about Ernest. And I think we talked about this a little bit in Ernest Scared Stupid. His character is so sincere and sweet and pure of heart that's kind of what puts him the underdog on top every time. It worked with the troll, and it worked in this with earning Santa Claus's respect. This guy really digs what I'm doing so much.
Yeah.
Granted, I would have made him the next Santa Claus, but whatever.
That would have been maybe pushing it, unless they weren't going to do any more Ernest movies.
No,
But this is a franchise. And did you catch what movie this was up against when it came out? When it was in 1988? It played at the same time as Child's Play.
Another holiday film.
The very first one. And it was Child's Play was number 1, and Ernest Saves Christmas was number 2 for a couple of weeks.
So again, another holiday movie that I enjoy that involves a puppet.
Yep. And no strings attached with Chucky.
There are no strings on me.
Especially the first one, which is like straight horror anyway. So.
Oh yeah, that one was good. That was all about that encapsulated the toy drive of the 80s in the exact same way that RoboCop encapsulated the whole dog eat dog method of the 80s or vibe. Child's Play was really good on that with like the consumerism.
Yeah.
Chucky was a My Buddy doll. It was this play on My Buddy. And that song stuck in my head now. Sorry for everyone at home that also just got it stuck in their head. As far as the rating goes, like I cracked a joke about it last week because I think it got like what 5.2, 5.1 rating on internet.
Something like that, yeah.
Again, it's not a smart film, but it's probably worth more than that. Like it's gonna make you laugh one way or the other. My wife doesn't like absurdity. She doesn't like silliness. She laughed just listening to this. Like you cannot deny the man's talent of creating these different characters and believing them. Like he's become each of these different characters.
Agreed.
All remaining like true to the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right. And you can also laugh at like, you could be like, well, that was utterly stupid. Well, are you smiling and didn't you just laugh? Well, yeah, but it's still stupid. But you laughed. Okay, so I got a little kick out of it. I can see people doing that, being like, no, I don't want to watch that stupid movie. Watch it. I guarantee you'll be like, okay, yeah, it's stupid, but I had a good time watching it.
Yeah. I won't let my wife cancel Disney Plus because this is on there.
I watched this off of Amazon Prime through like /Freevee, so we had to deal with some commercials as we watched it, which is not optimal. But if you want to watch it for free, that's where you can go check it out. You can check it out on YouTube too, but the video quality there is horrible because YouTube /Freevee will have it there as well. You get commercials, but if you're looking for the other streams, if you know what I mean, and the picture quality is bad, don't do that.
Is there a high def transfer of this?
No, but it's the standard def is what's up basically on Prime and YouTube and whatnot. So you can find it digitally, but there's no HD transfer of this really. It should be on Blu-ray. It's only one of the very first 4 Ernest movies that's not on Blu-ray. I have none of them on Blu-ray. I'd like to get them. I don't understand why Disney is hard up about not doing physical media. They're starting to get back into it a little bit. You know, they're releasing like the Marvel stuff, the Star Wars stuff that was on Disney Plus. Yeah, like WandaVision. They put out Prey finally on Blu-ray.
I can't reach it. It's over there.
Which is a super sweet ass Predator movie. And so they're kind of coming around, but like you have this great back catalog. You didn't even put this out on like your Disney Movie Club. And it's like, come on, like you can get the DVDs. They're not that great picture quality. I might still just get it anyway, just so I got it. But this needs to be on Blu-ray in a collection for people with at least a decent transfer so other people can see it and explore this movie. Hey, plenty of people our age who grew up with this and would love this on physical media. What are you stuck with? Some crap DVD. You want a Blu-ray so you can show your kids and be like, see, now you can actually watch the movie with me instead of being like, wow, that picture quality is horrible. Like my copy of The Ref is fucking ridiculous because it's only on DVD. It's not on Blu-ray. It needs a better transfer. It needs to be on Blu-ray. Watching it off the DVD is always a chore, but I'll always do it because I love the movie.
I told my wife the same shit today. I was like, see that pumpkin? She goes, what? Necessity to upgrade.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like compared to a lot of other things that we've watched recently, it didn't look that good. That looked better than The Thing, but it didn't look that good.
The Thing or The Thing?
The Thing.
Okay, The Thing.
Yeah. Lordy, that was terrible.
And if you're doing shots with this, you are now drunk again.
Fine. We've sent 4 people to the hospital with the liver poisoning.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Party punch. Superb. Peppermint schnapps. That's another good one.
Good stuff. Eggnog with rum. Yeah, baby.
Eggnog with rum. The hot toddies. Those are amazeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fireball whiskey. Just saying.
Oh, goodness.
One of us drinks around here, at least.
I used to, but I was a cheap alcoholic. Like I like beer, not beer. I like Coors Light.
That's not beer. Anyway.
See?
Just saying.
That's why it turned out to be a better pothead than anything else.
There you go.
I watch more movies that way. But as far as it not being on high def, I think the only movie that was, or the only 2, was Ernest Goes to Camp, and I think Ernest Scared Stupid. Not 100% on Ernest Scared Stupid. If it was, I don't think it's in print any longer. These are the old DVDs that. Oh, good. They're both showing. You can't see behind it. This pack here, I got it for $5 at Walmart, and it's out of print, so it's well over 100 at this point. And this is just the original DVD. Has absolutely nothing to it, but its value is beyond measure to me just because I love this flick so much.
Okay, for what's on Blu-ray, it looks like Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest Goes to Camp, and Ernest Scared Stupid. Those are the 3 that are on Blu-ray.
All right, so I had 2 out of 3 is not bad. Anyway.
And they're from Mill Creek, so that's who put those out.
Yes. Both of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. The Ernest Saves Christmas one says Touchstone on it. As far as who?
Yeah, that was when it was on DVD. Yeah.
Yeah. Specifications: Dolby surround sound, widescreen 1.851. So What I will say about that is if you are the type of person that wants to know more about these type of movies, or you do like special features for old movies, even on things like this, there is a group that does watch parties, and it is called literally Ernest Watch Party, where they have trivia for these things. They watch the movies together. They have behind the scenes pictures. They have stories and stuff like that. And it's all done by the people that are working on Jim Varney's biography. And it's
Awesome.
really cool because Disney put no effort into any of the special features for anything. And it's not like they're going to start now, like you said.
That's very true.
Hell.
And very sad. It's unfortunate that they feel that way, but that's Disney for you.
Even on WandaVision, there's nothing other than what they have on Disney Plus. There's no other special features on there.
Yep. They're allergic to money, as
Yeah.
evidenced by their last quarterly earnings call.
Fucking idiots, Bob Iger.
Go fuck yourself, Bob.
Uh,
Thank you, Elon, for that. We love you, buddy.
the Marvels failed because there weren't enough executives on set. I'm like,
More
Pretty
middle
sure that's not-
management.
pretty
Spoken
sure
by a
that's not the
true
reason
moron.
why it failed. Maybe that
Yeah.
whole Kevin system that you guys are just adopting to fucking write movies is the reason why it's failing. AI, they're using AI.
Yeah. Oh, well. As long as they don't try an AI script to write a new Ernest movie and they try and do that. No, thank you.
Well, no, see, here's the thing. There's the difference. That is fucking stupid. Movies like that that cost so much goddamn money with no fucking plot, no laughs whatsoever, no design of actual comedy. It fucking falls flat on its face. Good. Fuck them. It's a waste of money.
Right.
These movies over here are not stupid. Sure, they're
Right.
they're not lowbrow by any means. They're not punching
No.
down at anybody in any way, shape, or form. It's not cheap humor. It's very well done humor, and it's humor that's almost no one else can really copy what he does.
No, he's very unique to this role. Like, you could not reboot this. You could not redo it without that presence involved. You just can't.
No, and this had things that I took with me the rest of my life. One of which is where is it? The Three Little Words. When I worked at a coffee shop down in Riverside, California, whenever some asshole would come up and cut in line and just be a real douche to everybody else, I would sing this. They never get old. They always seem new. Those three little words, please and thank you. Fucking piss them right the fuck off every
Yeah.
time. Shame them for being assholes, because those three little words are dope. The second thing I learned from this movie and took with me, all of this could have been avoided if you just lied.
Just
But
saying.
again, notice the sweat on Ernest's face.
Yep.
Was shot in Florida.
Probably in
Gosh,
100-degree weather.
The 102% humidity.
Yeah, yep. It was the humidity that kills you.
But these are fun movies. Yes, they're silly. They're not stupid. The AI written movies that you're starting to see now, those are really stupid, and they're gonna get stupider in order to lose money on purpose. Cling on to shit like this, and again, cling on to the physical media that you have, because things like this that you really love from your childhood are not always going to be around because of shitty studios like Disney.
Yep. And they may not make the jump to being on digital for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, it might go off that service at some point, and then you may never see it again. So just keep that in mind when you're doing digital and streaming options. Like, it might be great for this time, but in the future, when you go to look for it and you can't find it, you might be singing a different tune.
You know what sucks is the only physical PS5 game that I have is RoboCop. A game with known flubs and issues.
Oh yeah, the glitches. Yeah.
But god damn it, I wanted that disc.
Oh yeah, I could not resist. I had to get that one.
Oh, I'm not sad. I don't regret it at all. You guys told me it was buggy. I bought it knowing it was buggy. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
I did too, and I'm still having the best time with that game.
I heard there's no new game plus, and I'm very sad.
Yeah, you have to pick your farming tree like very, very carefully when you're working through the game.
I did what you said, and I boosted out his armor. I'm like, oh, that is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Before we forget, my favorite character that Ernest ever did, and I think this was my first introduction to her, was the auntie that was supposed to be Marty's mom. Wouldn't you know it? I have two sons, one good, one bad, and with my luck, the good one dies.
That was so funny. I nearly died laughing with that one. If you didn't bring that up, I was going to bring that up.
And the don't side with him, honey, or don't cover for him. There's no future in it.
Yep.
It sounds like a jilted lover or some shit.
Kind of. I'm like, wow, this. And he overplays it. Like he totally hams it up, but it's totally worth how it portrays out or plays out in that scene. So.
And it's even funny. Well, I can't say it's even funnier, but she's great. And Ernest goes to jail because he's trying to escape, and he's pretending to be her and be escorted out as a civilian. And he's got the big rack, and it's his fucking ankle bracelets.
Yeah,
the ball and chain fall at him between the legs, and you're just kind of like, oh, goodness.
Man, clench those cheeks next time, bro.
Gotta hold the kegels. But yeah, the auntie and the snake handler kills me every time. And it's not so much the fact that the snake handler, I know people just like that, especially living here in Oregon, but it's the fact that he starts singing Rock of Ages that kills me.
I think Amy was like, what is he singing? I'm like, I have no idea.
It's Rock of Ages. It's a Christian song. Basically what he's saying is, I'm sorry I gave my son that poisonous snake.
That was probably one of my favorite moments in the movie when he was doing that Florida Bayou redneck. That was great.
Poisonous. And you think about things like that because there are wranglers like that have thousands of those reptiles for movies, and
all I could say was, damn those Hollywood types.
Poisonous. Poison. I don't know.
Hey, you're the snake wrangler. Then they dump all the snakes in the back of the truck. Oh my god.
This here, the cheapest effect ever, is the most believable thing I have ever seen. I mean, clearly it's just rubber snakes, but his reaction is
that was pretty good.
And my wife, she's sitting there putting me down like, you guys watch some really weird shit. And I'm like, this is so
we do.
Silly. And it's very similar to UHF, where it's a great movie made out of several different skits.
Kinda. Yeah.
And it's so fun. Each one is so fun. None of them suck. The best you can do is have fun playing. Which one's your favorite? It's just the way it is with Ernest movies.
Right.
Until you get to Ernest Goes to Africa, Ernest in the Army now. I didn't see those. I'll watch them, but I didn't see any of those.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the later ones. I only remember like these first 4 ones the most.
Yeah. I think the last one I saw, whichever it was either Goes to Jail or Scared Stupid.
The last one I watched was probably Scared Stupid for when we did it.
Oh, in that regard, then yeah. Oh, wait, no, I take that back. Strike it and reverse it.
Uh-oh.
I watched this 3 times this week.
Lies and deceit.
I watched it for my notes. I watched it because I liked it. And then I watched it in the Watch Together group tonight, and it was fun. I'm burping from the root beer. I'm sorry.
At least you had a good time watching it on the watch group and just for the show, it sounds like.
You know what? It was a neat experience. I watch a lot of the Mystery Science Theater groups where people are watching bad movies usually, and they're making fun of the movies. In this group, it was a completely different experience where it's almost like Rocky Horror. They're like screaming out their favorite lines from the movie, and it was just so fun.
Good. Sounds like it was a fun time.
Yeah, they do those things, I think, once a month.
Okay.
They've got a bunch of behind the scenes things. They give out a bunch of prizes.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's all earnestwatchparty.com or #EarnestWatchParty.
And we'll be sure to throw a link in the description below. So if you're looking for that, we'll also have a Amazon affiliate link to the DVD that is on Amazon. It's only like $7. So if you do want a copy, yes, it's DVD, but at least you'll have a copy of it. So you can still watch this.
And I don't know if there's a horrible looking version of this. YouTube again, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. Even on YouTube, the shitty version of Zorro the Gay Blade that I saw was still pretty awesome as far as like getting to watch it after not getting to see it for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So, I'd still watch it on YouTube if I didn't have access to it on Disney. I mean,
yeah.
So,
got any other fun little screenshots, graphics for us before we wrap it up?
I'm trying to double check because I hate missing a good joke, and I always do. But there was really nothing to joke about this again because it's all too goddamn funny already. And I think the best I have, one is to just let you know that the next time they're doing their watch party is January 28th.
Okay.
Blister. Calling Blitzen Blister. My favorite thing in any Christmas movie. Like, who doesn't do that?
Right.
Donder, Blister, Comet and Cupid.
Well, and it's funny, at the end of the movie, he actually does almost all the names correctly until the very last one.
It was
I'm like,
fantastic.
dude, he's going to nail it on this time. Nope, never mind.
But his heart's still there. He's still got the heart of a pure child.
Yes, he does.
What did Eartha Kitt call him? The Great Redneck White Hope? Something like that.
I don't remember ever hearing that.
Great White Redneck Hope or some shit like that. Because of his
Joe Bob? Wow.
No, it was something, his ancestral lineage. Because his grandfather or great grandfather put the troll in the earth when it killed her siblings.
Okay.
Anyway, I know too much.
This is what you do, Kevin.
Stutter on, make 0 points, fumble around. Yes.
Yep. Well, I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in for Ernest Saves Christmas with Jeff and Kev. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe our video. We'd like to hear what you think about this movie. Any favorite lines, any favorite quotes, or do you like any other Ernest movies? We've done Scared Stupid and Saves Christmas. You want us to do another one? Put a little comment below. We'd like to hear about it. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at SunsAndShadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.